The morning sun hung low over Maple Ridge Estates, a community known for its freshly painted fences, manicured lawn, and an HOA board that prided itself on perfection. Beneath that image of order, though, tension had been brewing for months. Small notices slipped under doors, fines for grass too tall, and veiled threats hidden in polite letters. At the far end of Cedar Lane stood a modest home, not the biggest or the fanciest, but the most independent. The owner had lived there for years, long before the HOA had formed. His property line stretched farther back than most, giving him space for a sturdy wooden fence and an old but reliable detached garage built by hand with sweat, lumber, and pride. He had no quarrels with anyone. He paid his taxes, kept his property clean, and minded his own business. But that independence, that refusal to bend to the HOA's growing list of community standards, made him a target. It began quietly, a letter about fence alignment violation. He ignored it at first, assuming it was a clerical mistake. Then came a second notice, sharper in tone, claiming that his fence extended into HOA-maintained land. The accusation was absurd. He had the deed, the survey maps, even county records, all proving the land was his. But the HOA board didn't care. They had decided, and in Maple Ridge, the board's word was law. Weeks later, while he was away on a work trip, the decision turned to action. Trucks rolled in loud, heavy, unapologetic. A small crowd gathered at the cul-de-sac as men in safety vests and hard hats took sledgehammers to the old wooden fence. Panels splintered and cracked, falling like dominoes across the gravel. The garage, standing proud behind it, was next. Its door was torn off, the walls crumpled beneath the hydraulic claw of an excavator. By evening, nothing was left but a flattened scar of dirt and concrete. The HOA president, a sharp-dressed woman with a permanent smirk, stood by watching it all, clipboard in hand, nodding in satisfaction. She spoke to the workers like she owned the place, ordering them to remove the debris by sundown. When the homeowner returned that night, the scene was unrecognizable. The fence he'd built by hand, the garage that had sheltered his father's old truck, his tools, his workbench, all of it was gone. The ground was uneven, littered with splinters and broken nails. He stood in silence, his breath shallow, his eyes unblinking. There was anger, deep, quiet, burning. But beneath that, something colder, calculation. He didn't shout. He didn't call the police. He simply took photos, every angle, every mark left by the bulldozer. Then he went inside. Inside the dim kitchen, he pulled out a weathered fold, the original deed to the property. The paper was old, yellowed at the edges, but the black ink was unmistakably clear. It marked the boundary lines of his land, not the HOA's, not the developer's, his. He placed the deed on the counter and stared at it, his reflection faintly visible in the glass covering. The HOA had crossed a line literally, and he was going to make them pay for every inch. As the night deepened, the street outside quiet, unaware that a storm was forming. For years, the HOA had bullied residents